Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Today, as our special guest, we have the one and only Justin Brown. What's up, Justin?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. So we also have as my co-host and co-facilitators of the conversation, Todd Bookspan, Mr. Win by Noon. What's up, Todd?
Hey, not much. Good morning, everyone. Super excited to hear what Justin has to say, just as much as I know all of you are.
And then we also have Deborah Bird, the social media wizard. What's up, Deborah?
You guys know I am super excited. This is my love language, and my TikTok crush is Justin Brown. So I'm excited.
All right.
Cool.
All right. So guys, anyone checking this out? I was doing some, research in preparation for today's call. And Justin, check this out. We did our first interview 3 years ago, and it was called Turning Borrower Education into a Competitive Advantage. And then, we did a bigger interview, how to get to buyers before realtors. And guys, this is 3 years ago. So this is a trend that everybody's on now. How do we get to the consumer first? How do we turn education to competitive advantage? Check it out, dude. Isn't that pretty cool that you were doing it 3 years ago? You were doing it.
Always trying to evolve and stay on top of things.
Yeah, and then 4 months ago, we did the how Justin is using mortgage coach strategies to get followers on both Instagram and TikTok. And then, of course, most recently, and what led to this call is how Justin is generating leads with social media. And what I thought we would do in this conversation, because your call was so well received on the Modern Real Estate Summit, is maybe do the first half of the call where we unpack what you're doing, why you're doing it with video and social, the mortgage coach, and then flip it at about 30-minute mark into, okay, how do you use that with agents? What are your thoughts on that, brother?
Yeah, sounds great. Good.
All right. So let me ask the first couple questions. Just want to confirm your production for the year. You're on track for about 120 million in production.
Yes, that's correct.
And then you're about 50% of your business comes from past clients, and your primary technology to support those clients are Mortgage Coach and HomeBot. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
I do want to give a shout out. Justin's done a great job, or him and his team, with the integration of HomeBot and Mortgage Coach. Looks like you have gotten 9 leads with the Mortgage Coach HomeBot integration in the past 30 days. Do you think that's kind of average at how many times?
Yeah, there's going to be more than that too. That's the amount of like automated TCAs that people do, but not everybody even knows how to navigate to that when they're looking at the HomeBot report. They kind of will just see it and hit reply a lot of times. Hey, what if I want to do this, or I want to refi, or I have a question? So yeah, I think there's a lot of business that comes just from HomeBot, and one of the main reasons why I love it is it has like a really low unsubscribe rate, like really low. And then the view rate is really high. I think it's like 70-something% for me, maybe 80%. So that alone just tells me people like it, they find value in it, and we get a good chunk of leads from it.
Love that. And then you get about 30% from agents and 20% direct to consumer. And that whole channel has really come up just in the past year to 2 years. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, hey, before, I thought the flow we would do is we would play the actual 4-minute presentation for the Modern Real Estate Summit. Before I do that, Todd, any questions for Justin or anything you want to say to Frank?
Well, I love that you're talking about HomeBot, and I'm a big fan of it. I'll throw in the down below and over in the code. If you happen to be the only person on this call who doesn't have HomeBot, I'll give you the WBN lender for Win by Noon. WBN lender will save you $200, and you can also use WBN agent for your realtors, and they can save the $50 sign-up fee. But for you guys, you can save $200. But you mentioned that people, you're getting lots of leads that way. So what's your process when someone reaches out to make sure that you follow up and catch all those new leads?
So I have a team member that basically manages our emails. So as soon as a lead comes in, my team's getting notified somebody's on it. And it depends how it comes in, because they're either coming in where they just request a TCA directly, or they reply to one of the questions on there, or they just email us, So yeah, it's just, manual. My team just jumps on it.
So I may have missed this. How are they getting into HomeBot?
So for me, we use Jungo and we have an integration. HomeBot has a beta for Zapier. I don't think they've rolled it out completely, but we're on the beta. So we're able, everybody that's in our Jungo just automatically pushes them into HomeBot for us. Otherwise, we used to just upload a list of closings every week. And we would upload a list of all our new buyers or prospects every week as well. We're putting our prospects in there also.
So does it know, because I thought it just showed you the equity of your home. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you don't have a home, they wouldn't go into HomeBot, correct?
No, they would, because it'll allow them to search for properties, and it shows them it shows them what markets are hot in their area, which ones are not. So they might want to check out the not so hot markets if it's too competitive in other ones. Like it has some cool tools just for prospects.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they've done a good job evolving the platform, so it's valuable for renters. Pre-approval process. It's valuable for anybody in the pre-approval process, and then of course, it's incredibly valuable from a client for life perspective. So, guys, check that out. Any questions you have for Justin, put them down below. So let's do this, because I want to get into want to unpack video, social, what you're doing, and then we'll make sure everybody will get all your questions answered on how is he using this to get more meetings with realtors and to get more engagement with realtors. Deborah, anything else before we play the presentation for the Modern Real Estate Summit?
No, I think we need to show this video so it gives some framing, and then we'll dissect it.
All right, guys, put your questions down below. Check this out.
Social media is completely overrated and it does not work. I'm going to show you exactly why. All right, so I was just kidding, but it worked, right? It grabbed your attention. And that's what social media and marketing is all about. Grabbing attention and holding attention. And with social media, it's about stopping the scroll. You literally have seconds, if not less, to get somebody to stop that scroll and listen to your message. Otherwise, you lose them and they're never going to give it a second thought again. By just learning how to present my information a little differently and how to grab attention a little bit quicker, I've been able to grow my Instagram from around 2,000 to over 40,000 followers, and my TikTok to over 70-something thousand followers in around 8 months. And they're both at Loans by JB, in case you wanted to know or in case you wanted to like or follow. But what this has also done is I'll get anywhere from 5 to 10, and I've had weeks where I've gotten 20 to 30 leads in a week from these platforms. Depends on the content, depends how good it is and the attention I'm grabbing, but it works. So my goal for you today is that you leave here with some tools to help you start maximizing this channel of business. It's truly unlimited what you could do and how much you could grow your business through social media. But make sure you watch till the end, and I'm going to give you one of my best post ideas that's guaranteed to help you kick things off the right way. So let's get into it. Here are the main ways you want to start every single video or marketing piece you have to grab attention. You want to start with a bold statement. You want to use curiosity. You want to use a conflicting statement. You want to use a big statement that's against the grain of what most people believe. You want to use a shocking statement. You want to use pain. You want to use a reward. So to help you guys out, I put together these slides that are going to be popped up next, and there's going to be a handout you could download or get it somehow through this video that's going to break all this down for you. You could thank me later when you check it out. So let's jump into that. So I've given you guys some tools and some templates to start framing your messages a little bit differently, to start grabbing attention a little better. And I promised you a great post idea. So with this post, what I'm doing here is I'm showing people a clear picture of the difference between renting, investing, and owning real estate. Real estate is the #1 way to create wealth in this country, and I like to put that picture together as clearly as possible. The clearer you can paint a picture, the better people are able to grasp the numbers and the information you're trying to give them on why real estate is so powerful, the better conversions you're gonna have. So I get all these messages on DMs, I get these leads and all that stuff. The #1 tool I have to convert, the #1 tool I have to present has always been Mortgage Coach. Mortgage Coach is a great way to break down numbers. It lets you do savings and investing comparisons and what happens with real estate, your net worth in 30 years and 15 years. It's a phenomenal tool. So check out this reel that I did. You'll see me pop Mortgage Coach in there and how I use it. But it's even more powerful when I have those consultations with the clients. When those leads come through and I schedule time with them and we do the pre-approval consultations, we're really educating them with this stuff. It goes so much further and my conversions have gone through the roof. So make sure you give me a follow on Instagram. Check it out on TikTok. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on social media. Anyways, I hope you like the information. Check it out and I'll see you soon. How to build wealth saving and investing and with real estate. Check it out. If you were to invest $1,000 a month into a total stock market index fund for 15 years and an average rate of return of 10%, you'd end up with $385,000. So in my market, let's say you could rent a home for around $2,500 a month, and if you were to buy a home for around $600,000 with the minimum down payment, your payment's going to be around $3,500 a month, so $1,000 more a month. Instead of saving and investing that $1,000 more a month, you now own real estate. Let's see what it does. If you were to keep renting, you could expect to pay about $518,000 during those 15 years with no return. And if you were putting that $1,000 a month away, like I said, you'd still end up with about $380,000 in investments. But owning real estate, you'll have about $726,000.
Boom. Such a great video, bro. You really killed it. That was a true value to the Mortgage Coach community and to everyone who watched the Modern Real Estate Summit. So thank you for that. By the way, did you watch much of the Modern Real Estate Summit?
I did. I have ADD, so I need to like time block the time to actually spend the day watching the whole thing. I know there's so much gold in there.
Well, remember, guys, it's available for a year and it's not too late. If you go to modernrealestatesummit.com, you can get a full 1-year pass and you can watch the whole thing at once, or you can just watch individual presentations whenever you want. So Todd, I'll give you the first question or comment after watching that. Any questions you have for Justin?
Well, I just, my big comment is I just love the fact that you're set, you're promoting gaining wealth and home ownership through using the TCA in a different, in a different format. And, I think the biggest thing for maybe just because I'm over 50 or something, I don't know, but you got to help all of the people here who haven't gotten on TikTok. I mean, what's your push to them to get going there?
It's funny. Like my goal this year was actually to grow my YouTube channel, and I've like failed at that because I just had so much. Because TikToks are way easier. You only have to figure out what to say for 30 seconds. 30 seconds or a minute max. Where YouTube, you got to figure out what to say for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and hold people's attention. So it's so easy. Like if you just get a TikTok account, if you don't have one already, and just start playing with it. Try to make some videos with your kids and just look at videos other people are doing and try and copy it. That's what TikTok is. It's just people copying trends and just maybe putting your own spin on it or your own words on it. So it just jump in and play with it. It's easy. And if you're not sure where to start, just go on YouTube. And that's what I did. I just went on YouTube and started searching how to make a TikTok. So it's not that hard. And look, and you don't have to dance either. So like, if you look at my videos, like a lot of them, I'm just pointing. I'm not even dancing. I'm not even saying anything. So there's ones where I do talk. There's ones I'm just pointing. And there's a few I've tried moving a little bit and I don't like it, so I don't do it. And then there's ones I try to do funny stuff and just try different things and see what connects with people, what works. And if you look at my Instagram page, that's what I've done. They're all kind of different styles, but you'll notice the main style I do is the pointing one because that just is easiest and gets a lot of attention.
What's funny with all that, Dave, I had shown you how you can screen record, like different tips and tricks that even, not that I'm proud of this, but I can be at a red light and I can screen record a video, or maybe I have pictures and I just put it in TikTok. And even the video I posted yesterday where I had someone take a few photos of me while I was presenting, it's so boring to deliver that as just pictures, even on Instagram. So like Justin's saying, you have 3 seconds to grab someone's attention. How are you going to package it a little differently to stop the scroll or to make it interactive? Because we are living in a very noisy world that I did all of that, just that video. And it's not the best editing, but I did that all through TikTok's app that I posted on Instagram. It's so easy to do little transitions or little voiceovers, but everything, if y'all follow Justin on TikTok right now, I want y'all to look at his feed and notice it's not always the perfect, when I say perfect, highly produced videos. That's like the best Canon camera and lighting. And that's what makes it authentic and engaging and captivating. And Justin does a good job capturing attention, but the second part of that is maintaining attention, where I'm telling y'all, I have a video marketing strategy package that people ask me for examples, and I hyperlink Justin Brown. I'm like, go to his account, because there's a fine line between being silly and cheesy where you're not a professional, and there's, versus providing educational content that's super valuable and engaging and, trendy. It's what the kids like.
Yeah. And I've tried, if you look at in the past, and here's one big tip I want to give everybody today is stop doing your videos with, hey, everybody, my name's Justin with the New Home Team. Today, I'm going to talk to you about this. Don't ever do a video like that again, because you immediately just lose. You need to just jump straight into the point. Hey, do you want to know this? Hey, do you want to stop this? Then you could, intro yourself later if you even want to. But if you look at my videos, I don't say, hey, I'm Justin at all. Like, I don't even say it. Like, they could go to my bio and see all that if they want to see it. So one takeaway for everybody, if you look at my old videos, that's what I did. Hey, this is Justin here with another Mortgage Minute. Today, I want to talk to you about, and the thing I learned is just don't do that anymore. Just jump straight into it. You want to make sure you save money. You want to become a homeowner this year. You want 3 ways to do this. Just if one thing you guys take away from this, stop doing those intros and just jump straight into the point. Like I said on the video Dave played, where I'm like, just jump into pain, reward, curiosity, a bold statement, just get straight to the point. And then you could frame it a little differently from there. But yeah, I just use my phone. If you look at my Instagram from the beginning of this year to now, I have upgraded my little office and added wood paneling and the neon light and all that stuff. But I didn't start with any of that. A few of my videos are just in my home gym in my garage. And it's,
Yeah, my favorite is the one with the ketchup bottle that's hanging from the ceiling.
I love that. Yeah, no, that one was funny. I thought it would do really well and it didn't, but whatever.
That was his version of a microphone, you guys. I don't recommend that when you're doing videos using a ketchup bottle on a string, but it's entertaining,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
guys, let's try to unpack a framework for a great video on any channel. Like I don't want to turn this into do TikTok. If you want to do TikTok, do it, and it is great. But YouTube is fantastic, and we've got great mortgage leaders, including Denise Donahue, the mortgage nerd, that's got a great YouTube channel, Facebook videos. So I think it's safe to assume no matter what channel you're creating content for, that point you made, start with the headline. And Rene Rodriguez, so you go through Amplify, it's the frame. And he makes a great case that the frame is actually more important than the story or the strategy. And one commonality when I've watched your content is you always have a, on point attention getting, scroll stopping headline, then you're holding the attention, and then you're always giving a strategy. And I love the words you use. Where is it? Paint a clear picture. Clarity creates confidence. So it's hook, and then, around a problem, and then it's tell a story or a strategy. And then what about call to actions? What are you typically doing for your call to actions?
Yeah, and that's something I'm trying to get better at. For a while, I didn't really have one. I was just trying to create organic content, and the call to actions always follow for more tips. If you look at all my posts at the end or whatever, I have follow at Loans by JB. But now, like I did a post today where I used pain. I showed, a bunch of Twitter feeds of rents going up across the country. And my call to action was, look, if you want a free consultation, click the link in my bio and we could do a verbal call and just see what it looks like, for you to become a homeowner. So call to action, you should have one, whether it's click the link here or do this next. Here's what you should do if you want to solve this problem or you want to get away from this pain.
What about, one thing I've been brainstorming with Bill Hillstad from a Facebook marketing standpoint, and Deborah does a great job of this, of using the total cost analysis to, as a teaching tool, as a prop within the presentation, but then to make your call to action something like, and hey, if you'd like me to personalize one of these based on your market, so it's local to the neighborhood you're looking for, and it's personalized on your goals, reach out to me. So they kind of know they're going to get this personal, localized deliverable. Have you tested that or tried that?
No, but that's actually a great idea. I'm going to do a refi post and do a call to action where, hey, if you want one of these awesome TCAs, my team will put one together for you. That's actually a good idea. I'm going to do that.
So is it safe to assume the three most important things are, and number one is the headline, because if you don't have a good headline or problem, they're not going to stop the scroll and they're not going to watch it. It's how clear and edutaining did you make the story or the strategy? And then the tie down, the call to action and the tie down. Again, those are the three key elements that everybody could look, no matter what social media platform, and go, give yourself a grade on those three things. Is there something else?
No, that's really it. Headline, bullet points, call to action. That's really the main template of any marketing you ever do. And the one thing I was going to mention is, if your call to action is just to build an audience, right? That's okay if it's just follow me for more, whatever. Because the beauty with Instagram and Facebook is that audience, all the analytics and stuff you can do with it later. So that audience I'm building, I could start running ads to all these people and retargeting all these people. I could create lookalike audiences of the 40-something thousand people that have lookalike demographics, and I could start running ads to them. So there's so much you could do with it. When you don't, like, if you're not sure what to do or what kind of call to action you could do, like, worst case, just ask for a follow, ask for a like and a follow. And again, you're building your database of people that you could market to in the future as well.
Love it. So Brian Covey, you asked, I did say Denise Donahue, the mortgage nerd. Check her out on YouTube. Someone just said the handouts aren't clickable. Remember, guys, these handouts are also in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group. So in our Facebook group, we have a files section of that. And these handouts are in that group also. Todd, any other questions you have around creating the content and what Justin's doing before we get into how is he using this with agents?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll throw my text number in there too, Dave. So if someone wants just to text me, I can send them over the handout as well. I think you kind of nailed it, Dave. Coming up with the framework. Justin, what are like one or two or three of the top headlines that you've done to get the most views?
Well, so one of the things I did that really helped me on my journey when I first got started this year of like, okay, I want to start doing videos and marketing and learning marketing, was I did a target audience worksheet where I like really got honed in on who am I after and what do they want. And my target audience, it came down to somebody who's 35, just, getting going with their career, starting to make money, or just starting a family. And at the end of the day, we've all been there, and you're like, what's next? What do I do to really make sure my future is set? Like, I really don't want to have to work like this forever, but what should I do to help give me the most potential for my future and for my family's future? That's kind of the demographic I went after. So that's why I started like, okay, well, I'm going to start putting personal finance stuff in with my mortgage stuff because I'm a big student of that. I love it. So the headlines to use or whatever, it really comes down to just what do you think the people want? So for me, saving and investing for your kids, my biggest post was doing a custodial Roth for how to help your child retire a millionaire. That thing got like a couple million views because who doesn't want to figure out how to set their child up for the future, right? And then the other ones is like, when I talk about don't do biweekly payments, and that's kind of against the grain because most people are like, oh, I heard biweekly payments are good. I heard that'll help me pay off my mortgage sooner. And I'm like, no, don't pay off your mortgage early. It doesn't make sense. Here's why. Look at the math. So just anything that's going to go against the grain. You could start a post with Dave Ramsey's wrong. I'm going to show you 3 reasons why, right? Just anything that's going to, and one thing you could do is you could actually go on TikTok and search hashtags of mortgage posts, real estate posts, things like that, and just look at other people's posts that have done really well and look at the headlines they're using and just paraphrase it, make it your own.
I like what you said, and I want everybody to write this down, guys. Be clear on who your target customer is when you're creating content. 6 days ago, we interviewed Shivani Pedersen, and she's doing a lot on Instagram. And she talked about how, hey, my goal is financial empowerment and education of women. And so that led her to like, Instagram is my main channel, and that's the content I create. By the way, great interview on this. It was last Tuesday, so it was a week ago today. Fantastic interview, and she said basically the same thing. So that was another really good takeaway for the framework as we build.
If you're not clear on who your target audience is, you're going to be all over the place. So I do see some lenders posting things that only industry people are going to understand, or only realtors are going to understand, but the consumers really aren't. It's not language that they're going to get. And then they bounce around and post stuff that the consumers are going to get. It's just kind of, I would be careful to not bounce around what you post. Like, I don't really post stuff showing loan officers how to do things. So like, hey, loan officers, want to know how to do this? Which I could, and I'm sure I could get a lot of attention from it, but that's not my target audience, isn't loan officers. My target audience isn't realtors. So I'm not saying a lot of lingo or things that only realtors will get. My target audience is consumers that are around 35 that are trying to figure out what's next for my future. How do I build wealth? That's it. And so I try to always just maintain that and not stray from that. And now I could use that to go after realtors, which I know we'll segue into, but just be clear on who you're after and stick with it. Don't bounce all over. If you could tie in your own passions and hobbies, you will do even better.
Love that. Yeah, they got to know who you are personally.
Yeah.
So guys, we got another 4 minutes before we're going to transition into, okay, you've got this great social media platform. You're getting 20% of your business consumer direct. You're generating 5 to 30 leads a week. Deborah, any other questions before we pivot?
Yeah, I just, for some of those that, I do discovery calls all day, every day with a lot of the loan officers, even in this community, and they're still almost hesitant with video. And so I just want to share some of these statistics that came from the book that you recommended, Dave, Hook Point. The average person spends 11 hours interacting on digital media every day. People scroll 300 feet of content each day. So that is why it's so important when you have a captivating hook. If you want your content to be seen, it's going to have to stand out. And sometimes you don't know, oh, look, there it is.
So guys, real quick, this book is a must read. Hook Point, How to Stand Out in a 3-Second World by Brendan Kane. Have you read this book by any chance?
No, but at the beginning of this year, when I started my journey, I read his Million Followers book.
Yeah, that's his first book. We also had him as one of the keynote speakers at the Modern Mortgage Summit. And we did an interview with him too, didn't we, Todd?
You did with Renee and him, I think.
Oh yeah, I interviewed him with Renee. Because by the way, Renee is the one who hooked me up with the book and turned me on to the guy. So cool. So guys, check that out. We'll put a link down below. All right. Todd, anything? Oh, go ahead.
Mario's question about managing 2 target audiences, create 2 different accounts. So I, in the future, might want to start targeting just VA, and I'm just going to create a separate VA Instagram account. So I would just create a separate account. Don't overthink it, just do it. And then just make sure the content, if you want to target only realtors and give them tips to grow their business and how to grow their social media, just have an Instagram account just for that. And then if you want to target consumers, have an account just for that.
Deborah, anything you want to add to that?
That's just, that will be a little bit of friction for a lot of the loan officers, simply because some of them are not great at already consistently posting on one platform. So I usually create a content calendar where we have different buckets so that we're diversifying. Some of it's going to be partner related and not just real estate agents. I mean, I have a lot of clients that are really trying to dive deeper into the financial advisor and, insurance agent model, and also consumer. So ironically, when you really peel it back and you dig deep into your business and where most of your business comes from, unless you're a Justin who's already doing this and has been very successful, most clients that I'm talking to, the bulk of their business is coming from real estate agents. Yeah. And so when they think of their ideal client, because I'll probe them on, tell me the age, like tell me what kind of car do they drive? Do they have kids? Are they married? Are they first-time home sellers? Like we've got to know your audience better than they know themselves from a psychological standpoint. And ironically, there is no pattern or trend because it's usually whatever they get from the agent. So I'm like, okay, well then if your agent is your ideal audience, tell me more about what that one looks like. How long have they been in the business? What kind of production are they doing? Are they on a team? Are they just a buyer's agent? Are they typically married? Are they typically men or women? I mean, it's getting really granular on your audience so that I think a lot of times we assume we're providing value, but if you don't ask what's valuable to them every once in a while, then you're just pushing stuff out there that could be what you're assuming. And that's why it's so important to still have, that relationship where you're asking them. And then again, then you can read analytics. And this is what Bill and I, we just talked last week. And sometimes the hooks we think are going to do best, we're amazed of why other hooks work better.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're scratching our head trying to figure out how in the hell did that work?
Yeah, no,
Like,
same here. Same here. I'll
Well-
post stuff that I think, oh, this is going to do great. And it's like, oh. And then other ones like, okay, I just need to get this out because I need to post something today. And I didn't think it'll do that good. And it does great. I'm like, okay, well, just got to do it.
What are your thoughts on this? And then we're going to transition is you could do Instagram consumer direct, and you could do consumer direct on Instagram and TikTok. And then you could have a realtor Facebook group. And like Kelly Zitlow's done, she's got a realtor, you know, when you really look at her YouTube strategy, the videos she's putting in YouTube are more like partner in realtor education.
Mhm.
So what are your thoughts on that? Just use different social channels for different customer
Yeah.
avatars.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea by all means. You know, it's just adding value, but you know, you're gonna, like on my page, if I start posting stuff showing realtors how to grow their Instagram and things like that, I'm gonna have a lot of consumers, a lot of 35-year-old professionals that aren't in that space that are gonna like, well, this isn't for me anymore. I've already seen your message, bye. You know, and I'll lose them or whatever. So that would be my fear. And that's why I would say you should just be specific, have your target audience and stick with it. I think you can provide a lot of value and grow a page just offering realtors, you know, tips on growing their social media. And all you have to do is watch videos like the one we're doing here, these interviews, go on YouTube and research how to grow social media and take that content and repurpose it and start putting it out on your own. And realtors will start to follow you with that. You know, there's lots of things you could do, but at first it is getting clear on who you're after.
So let's do this. Let's pivot because we build this call around how are you using social media to create warm calls to agents. So let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
obviously you're not creating agent specific content, but yet you're using your social media platform to get a warm call to an agent. So describe what you mean by that.
So in the past, I was in the core for over 6 years, and it was all just call realtors, call 40 realtors a week. And I got to the point where I was calling 80 realtors a week, and I went from 17 or so realtor referrals a month, which isn't a lot, to almost 150 a month. Like I was closing 20, 30 purchases a month from realtors from making calls for a year. But in addition to making calls, I was doing happy hours, I was doing lunch and learns, I was sending them mail. I was sending them videos. Like I was farming them. They couldn't get away from me. They saw me everywhere. And after a few months of somebody seeing you everywhere, they start to take appointments. They start to, okay, let's work together. What can we do, right? So the beauty of what I'm doing on Instagram is I'm kind of, that whole package of stuff I used to do, I'm kind of able to accomplish it by just growing my Instagram because they're seeing me on there, and that's building the credibility. And that, you know, so if I start running some retargeting ads to realtors in addition to my Instagram, that'll get me the same effect of weeks of phone calls, all these events, all this mail, all the stuff I was doing before. I'm able to accomplish it with a lot less money and a lot less effort because it's just one piece of content that, you know, goes in front of a lot of people. So imagine now I pick up the phone and call a realtor. John, hey, my name's Justin. If they've already heard of me, great. But if not, check out my Instagram. Just so you know, I'd love to meet with you and see if I could help you do the same thing and show you how I'm getting 5 to 30 leads a week from social media. How many realtors do you think are going to take that call and schedule that coffee with me versus when I was just cold calling, you know, years ago, right? It's just night and day difference on what I'm able to accomplish now because of building that credibility.
So guys, let's break this down. And I think we just netted out the call in 3 minutes. He's got a very successful Instagram and TikTok account that's generating 5 to 30 consumer direct leads. And then I hope everybody caught it, he's retargeting agents. So while the content was designed for consumers, he's making sure that realtors are seeing it, or he's making the best effort to make sure that it's showing up in realtors' boxes. And then when he calls them, chances are they've heard from you. Is there a way that you're able to identify the realtors that are watching you? Are you putting your agent list into a custom audience? And then putting a lot of money on that, so you kind of know that these 100 realtors or these 500 realtors, they're getting my content.
So I'm not going deep with all that, but you can upload a custom list of agents, past clients, and all that in Facebook, and then you can retarget them. And so I could look at my posts and see which post did the best, and I could start retargeting consumers or realtors with that actual post. And then from there, follow up with a DM or a phone call. But I'm actually getting some realtors coming to me. I have some agents that have come to us and are working with my team that I've never even spoken with. You know, they'll DM me, hey, I'd love to work together. I'd love this info. Oh, great. I'm going to have my team reach out. They'll take great care of you. And then, you know, weeks later or whatever, I hear somebody's in escrow. Oh, where'd that one come from? Oh, that's from this agent from Instagram. Oh, no way. That's awesome. I never even talked to them. And like, and if I see an agent sharing my story, or commenting like behind the scenes, I might go in and DM them like, hey, you know, thanks for the share, or hey, I appreciate your comment. In the future, if you ever want to, you know, chat about growing your channel or any of that, I'd love to talk to you. And it's an easy layup all day long. But the whole point is, I spent my time learning marketing. I read books. I went on YouTube. I really spent hours diving in. Like, I need to learn social media. I need to learn how to market. And I need to do it. And by doing that, I now have value that I can add to realtors besides, oh, we close fast, we have great rates, my team will take great care of your clients, all that fun stuff. Like, now I have this extra, you know, thing in my arsenal that I could use to get business.
Have you taken any of the content you've created? Because you know, you created a recipe book for the mortgage coach community. You know, that strategy that you did, you had a TCA, you had a headline, you gave a bunch of plays. Are you doing any of that for realtors where you're saying, hey, and what market are you in? I know you're in Orange County.
I'm in Southern California.
But like Orange County, like Irvine?
Yeah, Orange County, LA, San Bernardino. I'm like right in the middle is where I live.
So are you going to an agent and let's just say a very specific market in Orange County and saying, hey, here's 3, 4, 5 good headlines, and here's content I've created, and then here's a playbook for content you could create and should create? Are you doing that?
No, but I'm actually going to start, because I have 2 junior LOs on my team that are licensed that they take all my leads. And I don't really even talk to leads anymore. And I don't really go after agents much anymore. Like I said, they have ones coming to me. And then if there's certain ones, I might go after them a little bit. But I've been able to cherry pick a lot more with my business. But what I do plan on doing now is, now that things are opening back up, is doing some lunch and learns for agents, how I grew my Instagram. And I will give them those headlines and the formula and all of that. And at the end, push them to my LOs on my team to start sending business in-house.
Love that. Guys, keep the questions coming in. So we got about 23 minutes, and I think we've answered the question of how he's using social media as a warm call. I want to make sure we know how you're using Mortgage Coach to create, as either inspiration for content or in that video. So, and I think everybody on this call should make their own version of that video you created. He's got music, he's got a style, an entertaining way of doing it, but you all have a different style.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about the TCA, and maybe kind of like my push to everyone is, you need to have your own version of this, and then in your market that's localized based off of values in your market, rates that you have. And so walk us through that so everyone in the audience can create their own version.
Yeah, no, so I've always done a TCA where I show the wealth you build owning real estate. In 15 years, here's what your net worth will be. In 30 years, here's what your net worth will be based on a 4% appreciation and loan and principal pay down and tax benefits. And Mortgage Coach does that very clearly and always has. But what I've started to use it for is showing people, because in my market, if you buy a home versus renting, your mortgage payment's going to be more. It's easily $1,000 more a month owning in Southern California than it is renting. Renting's not cheap and it's going up, but it does cost more to own out here. Some market, I read like 67% of markets across the US, it's actually cheaper to own than rent, which is amazing, but not here. So what I've done to overcome that is showing people, well, look, if you're going to keep renting, you definitely want to take care of your future, right? You want to save like 401k, like you want to make sure you have a retirement, right? And who says no, right? Everybody says yes. So let's say you keep renting at $2,500 a month and are able to save and invest $1,000 a month. And, honestly, best case scenario, let's say you just invest in index funds, which average 10% historically, and that beats 90% of money managers. So at the end of the day, 10% return would be a great return, right? Yeah. So 10% return. And do you want me to pull up the TCA that shows that?
Yeah, let's pull up this TCA. And guys, I will put a link to it in chat in both Facebook. And if you're watching this in the recording in the YouTube, we'll put it down below. So here is the actual total cost analysis that Justin used in his video.
And then and I also use this with it. So if you just Google compound interest calculator, you'll get this investor.gov one where you could show like, hey, if you invest $1,000 a month, your initial investment 1,000, and you keep putting 1,000 a month in, which is a lot, but let's see what it does. Over 15 years, let's say you're able to get a 10% return, which most financial advisors won't over time. You might have a 20% year, 30% year, but over time, it's not really going to be that. It's usually a little less, but the market as a whole does that. And then you hit calculate. In 15 years, you're going to have built about $385,000 of, money for your future, but you're not going to own any real estate and you're going to be renting still, right? Well, let's look at what would have happened if you would have instead been okay with that $3,500 a month mortgage and not been able to save and invest. So I show them like, 600,000, which is more in the price range of my market. So instead of paying $2,500 a month in rent, you're now paying $3,500 a month. You really can't save and invest much extra, but you own real estate. And in 15 years, you're going to have a net worth of $726,000 versus that $385,000. So you're going to own real estate. You're going to have a good chunk of equity, which will give you more options than that $385,000 probably would, because you could always go back to renting, sell the home, and walk with that $726,000 and go back to renting if you want. But it just shows people a clear picture of, look, I know it's more expensive to own here than rent, but here's how it's going to help you build wealth faster and better than staying a renter and saving and investing separate.
So Gerald, I did put a link to this, and I want everybody to this is what, you're not a modern mortgage professional if you can't make this case. If you're not able to show renting versus owning, and then show the transparency of different strategies over time, 5 years, 3 years, you're a loan officer. And this is really the difference between being a loan officer and a mortgage advisor, or loan advisor or mortgage coach.
Because if somebody says they can't afford to own, I guarantee you they will agree they also can't afford to not put money away for their future. And look, I understand if it doesn't make sense, but make sure you're saving and investing your 401k, something. But if you want to build wealth the fastest, and there is a reason why 90% of millionaires made their money through real estate, because real estate is the #1 tool in this country to build wealth. It builds the most wealth for people. So by owning, here's what that looks like.
What Robert just asked, what appreciation rate did you use in the TCA?
4%.
So, and my recommendation, guys, if you're talking to an individual consumer, agree on that number together. Like, hey,
yeah, bring that up.
Averages, what do you think? And so that when you're giving it to them, it's personalized and it's localized to them. And if you're creating social media content, where do you get those numbers? And how do you come up with the number that you use?
So with 4%, I think that's a conservative number. Definitely with real estate in my market, at least, very conservative. Across the country, it might be like more of an average, like, okay, that makes sense. But in my market, that's definitely conservative. And I do break it down for people. I show them, look, here's how this $726,000 is made. For social media, it's actually kind of a good thing to not give too much info, to kind of leave them hanging. Because if you look at the video I did at the end, I'm like, or own, and you would have had $726,000. I didn't really explain it, but that's going to cause people to like comment, question, DM me, and then I could try to schedule that consultation to really show them how this works, right? But I do my research. I go online, I'll start Googling and go into websites that have statistics. I'll read news articles. I use, I'll do my research before I put stuff up.
Before, Todd, I'm gonna give you the next question after this, but I want to get a couple mortgage coach scripts out of you. We're always helping loan officers. How do you frame a total cost analysis with a consumer? What do you say? So when they get that link, they're excited about it. Or what do you train your team to say? What does it sound like when you position a mortgage coach TCA for a family, a borrower?
It's basically just a presentation. So whenever we have a client that wants to get pre-approved, we'll let them know, hey, it's like calling a mechanic. We got to look under the hood, and then we'll give you a complete diagnosis, right? So we need to get your stuff. Let's go through an application, blah, blah, blah. But once we get it all together, we're going to then put some options side by side for you. We're going to show you very clear breakdowns. We're going to show you exactly what owning will look like for you now, what it'll look like for you in the future. We'll let you know what we think you should do. We'll let you know what you can do. We'll walk you through that whole deal. Does that sound good? Yeah, great, right? So they usually, nobody says no. most people don't. But then they'll send in their stuff, and then, okay, hey, good news, Dave, we got you pre-approved. It looks like you qualify for about 500,000. When can we meet to go over the numbers? Oh, well, I'm actually busy. You know, what's the payment on that? What's the rate? Oh, I don't have any of that ready. I'm still putting all that together. I just wanted to give you the good news. When can we meet? We can go over all that. Oh, well, I just want, like how much down? I'm putting that together still, but I'll have it ready for our appointment. When can we get together? So that's what my team's script is. Like, always schedule the Zoom and go over the TCA with them. And that's, oh, I don't have it ready. I just ran some rough numbers, but I'll have that for you. So that's the pitch. And then we jump on a Zoom and they walk them through it. You know, they walk them through, here's, you know, how much cash to close you're going to need. Here's the different options. And then we could talk through it too. If they're like, wow, that's too much, or that's better than I thought, then we could start playing with numbers. We could start showing them, well, look, here's how it's going to build wealth for you. Well, if you keep running and save and invest, you know, how much could you afford to save and invest still every month? Okay, well, here's what that would do. So that gives us the opportunity to start overcoming objections and using Mortgage Coach to make it very clear and break it down. And for some reason, having a nice, pretty presentation on Mortgage Coach, it just creates more trust than us just telling them the information, you know?
Well, there's three things that you're doing that are one, they're driving conversion, and two, they're reducing price exceptions. One, you're giving them options so that when they pick the option, they own it and they invest in it. Two, you're giving them transparency over time. So most loan officers are just saying rate, payment, cash to close. You're like, hey, look at how these options perform over different windows of time. And then three, it's a multi-sensory experience. I mean, it's on their phone, it's on their computer, they're touching it, they're interacting with it. So they remember it and they're wowed by it. So, and I could go on, there's more than just three things. Those are the three things. Anyone listening to this, I am hearing a lot of people getting rate shopped in today's market. And the recent interview I did with Gina Myers is just awesome. It's like a 30-minute interview. I actually just posted an article in our Facebook group, kind of breaking down what was the magic of Gina's presentation. But check that out. Gina's going to do like 200 million this year, and she's killing it because she's giving everybody options and she's not getting rate shopped as much. Anything else you want to add to that before we just kind of go free flow with questions?
No, you know, when we do the presentation, we go through the Mortgage Coach stuff, and then we also talk about how we're going to be there to do free annual reviews. I have educated my team on personal finance stuff. If you go to my Instagram, there in my bio, there's a link to a personal finance course. I think it's like $70. I've taken that course multiple times. I put my team through that course because I want my team to also be able to speak the same language of talking to people about personal finance, about investing, how index funds work, you know, the difference between a Roth and a 401k, and, you know, just all the different types of accounts you could use to build for your future. And, you know, so the more educated you and your team are on this stuff, the more that's going to help you convert as well and build trust and have, you know, your clients, like, who doesn't want to work with somebody who really understands money? Like, yeah, I understand how to put a loan together, but I also understand how to help you like really save and invest and maximize your money as well. And you don't have to be a financial advisor to do that. You're not crossing any boundaries by just giving education and, you know, or whatnot. So, and that was one of my fears too about putting that information out there. It was like, well, people might criticize me or not agree with it, or I'm not a licensed, you know, financial advisor. And I finally was like, yeah, screw it. Who cares? I'm going to do it. I read this book. I think it's 5 Steps Ahead. I forgot the name of the book. It was a good book where the guy's basically like, look at Dave Ramsey. The guy's an idiot. Most people hate him, but they follow him. They listen to him. He's built an audience. Or Jim Cramer, the guy lost his securities license and he's wrong more than half the time and people still love him. Just put it out there. Whatever you believe in, stand by it. Put it out there. Don't care. And that's how you're going to build a following. And so that's when that was part of like, okay, I'll start doing this personal finance stuff. Oh, well.
So I want to give a little 1-minute micro lesson to everyone. Most loan officers have a value prop that's something like, I can close your loan faster, easier, and I got great rates. You'll hear what Justin is doing is he's talking about how his advice is helping people achieve, he's not saying build wealth, he's saying financial freedom. He's looking for 35-year-olds that want financial freedom, and he's helping them make smarter mortgage decisions. And then he's coaching and advising them over time. And so I just want to make sure you guys create your own value prop. Highly recommend you use words like mortgage strategy always beats rate. But guys, that's what mortgage advisors do. That's what mortgage coaches do. Make sure you've got really good personal scripting around how you differentiate yourself. And it shouldn't be about rates, fees, and how fast you close, or you sound like every other loan officer in America.
Yeah.
All right, Todd, it's been a while. Any questions, anything you want to make sure we cover before we run out of time here?
All right, you already said that this is a masterclass. So let me just point out a couple of things before I ask Justin a quick question. Number one is the video Dave played earlier was what he did for the Modern Real Estate Summit. I would tell you can still buy a pass for that, a 30-day pass or a 365-day pass. And my encouragement is there's great content in there for you to repurpose, right? We had Seth O'Byrne, who's on Bravo TV out in California. He did 4 different videos, and a few of those were specifically around social media. Kyle Whissel, one of the top EXP agents in the country, number 2 in San Diego, or maybe number 1. I keep forgetting. He's vying for the top with Dan Beer. Kyle did a thing on how to use video in 30 seconds to change someone's life. I mean, that one in itself, Dave said was worth the $99 to sign up. And then Dan Beer talked about getting 5-star reviews, which was also awesome. So tangent there, but don't forget that that's great content for you to use to repurpose in all of these videos. I would also rewind about 6 minutes to where Justin gave you the script. Not once did he, when he got pushed back on, hey, what's your rate? He said, awesome. Hey, I'm preparing the numbers for you. When can you meet? And then he said, well, what's my payment? My, down payment. Well, he pushed back 3 times to push for the meeting. And I think that's where a lot of us make the mistake. We give in the first time if we don't push back like he did. And then if not, we give in on the second time. He pushed back and pushed back and pushed back again to get them to follow his process. He didn't fall into their process. And that's why Justin and his team win. And really my question for you, Justin, is really around scheduling and timing for all this, because most loan officers, their big excuse is you've already solved that one, what to say. And then now they actually have to make time and actually take action. So how do you build doing social posts and creating this content into your calendar? What does that look like each day and each week?
It depends. Like, honestly, sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to get in the mindset and the creative mindset. Like, I can't just turn it on. Like, I really need an hour of like going through Instagram, going through TikTok, reading, going through and figuring out what I'm going to do that day. So it's usually about 4 hours a week is what I need. And I can come up with, a good week's worth of content. I like to batch it. If you look at like all my most recent videos I put up on Instagram, I'm wearing the same shirt because I'm just batching it. So you can have a change of shirt if you want. I don't really care. So batching it helps. So time blocking like a good 4 hours. One other thing that really helps get the creative juices flowing for me is I work out every morning early. And I listen to podcasts, or I'll listen to books on personal finance, on marketing, on something that'll get me motivated and give me content ideas. So a lot of content ideas I have come up with when it comes to personal finance and investing is just from me listening to books in the morning and me learning myself. So the more you're learning and educating yourself, the more you're going to be able to then turn around and use that content to educate others.
Love that. A few people are asking for your advice. So what marketing people are you following? What books are you listening to for people who want to dig deeper?
Some of the best ones, Russell Brunson, he does ClickFunnels, and he's got like .com secrets. He's got One Funnel Away. He's just Google Russell Brunson and look at his marketing stuff. Billy Jean is marketing. I've taken his course, which was about $5,000, I think, but it was a great course. Those are the 2 that stand out the most for me right now. Otherwise, there's some great just personal finance books if you want to educate yourself, and then that in turn helps you educate your clients better. Let me look at my Audible history here. Brain farting.
While you're doing that, guys, I want you to, Todd called out, what I'd call leadership. The best mortgage professionals I've interviewed that are doing over 100 million, they're leaders. And so that pushback 3 times, it comes because he embraces constructive tension. And he knows he has something awesome to share with the family. So it's really easy. He knows they've got to get through that mortgage coach experience, that presentation. And so it comes a lot easier to push back on that. Did you find the book yet?
Yeah, well, the Million Followers book is one that I read earlier this year. And then for good marketing and social media. And then he's got Hook Point, which I'm sure is going to be good as well. But the personal finance books that I love is I Will Teach You to Be Rich, and then The Simple Path to Wealth. Those 2 books, download on Audible. It's just great for yourself and your own financial journey, and then it's very easy. They break it down very well, and take that information that you like from it and that you learn from it and share it with your clients.
And then notice, guys, also he's doing every day, he's listening to positive content, things that are helping fuel that. How much time do you spend a day listening to positive content? Like
anywhere
30 minutes?
one to 2 hours.
Okay, so you're same as me. I need at least an hour of personal content. And then a pivot I made many years ago is where I said, you know what, I'm gonna listen to positive content at least an hour a day, and then I'm gonna create content once a day. And that led to Mortgage Coach in this YouTube channel that we have, is that I allocate 5 hours a week, 1 hour a day for content creation. And it makes, I feel like tell me if you feel like this, not only is there value in the content you're creating out there, but you're getting smarter and better.
Absolutely. You're expanding
when you read it.
That's what I love most about it, is I'm expanding my own, knowledge in myself. I'm growing myself by doing this, and then I'm sharing it, so selfishly, I'm probably getting more from it than anybody else, as far as the information I'm teaching people, like I'm learning it all too. So it's great for me.
So guys, let's get a post in our Facebook group. If someone else could start it and say, what are the best financial literacy books mortgage professionals or mortgage coaches should read. So if someone else doesn't get this posted, by the way, we don't need a bunch of posts on this, but I would love to get a conversation going in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group around what are the best financial literacy books a mortgage coach should read. Put your own words. Let's get that in there. Anyone that's listening to this on Facebook, we'll put a link to that. And Justin just put his too, The Simple Path to Wealth, and I Will Teach You to Be Rich. So there's Justin's two favorites. Guys, we got 4 minutes left. Deborah, quick question you have, and then I'll throw it to you, Todd, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, I'm going to make a selfish plug here that, I'd gone to the Todd Duncan Sales Mastery, and one of the things that he was talking about with the top producers there is how much time would you have to spend studying marketing, creating graphics, learn to leverage. So the law of leverage of hiring an expert, which this is what my company does. I've taken the courses of a certified mortgage planner, the liabilities manager course, the borrower university, where you're teaching people how to borrow smarter. I literally consume mortgage, real estate, and marketing content as if it's oxygen. And it's funny because Dave had asked me earlier this morning how my results were with my Aura ring, and my sleep is never great. So Jonathan, if you're listening to this, I know my passion is I love just studying this content. So learn to leverage out a team who is doing this, where yes, you're still going to have to be involved because it's personal branding, like the videos that you see with Justin, but it makes it a lot easier for clients when we give them the recipe of here's your hooks that we've used research to show like which ones are converting best and what audiences want to hear. Here's your talking points. Now, all you have to do is record. So we try to remove that friction as much as possible, making it to where you're optimizing your time in the best way, either sharpening your practice, delivering the best client experience or agent experience possible. While this is what we study. I mean, marketing changes so much every day that it's a full-time job studying the analytics. So visit plugandplaysm.com. We'd be happy to help any of you watching who are trying to figure out how you're going to have time to fit this all in. Don't think you have to do it alone. You can, leverage some of these tasks out. And we will tell you what to record, how to record, when to record. You just got to do it.
I'll pile on. That's the easy button, right? I mean, there's a reason that Dave and I use her for all the modern mortgage and real estate summit stuff that we do. And I use her, Deborah and her team, for Win by Noon. But I think as a loan officer, I think that's the biggest challenge. When I heard Justin say he's spending 4 to 5 hours a week, and he's spending a lot of that time just thinking about what he's going to say. And so the easy button to do that, if you want to save the 15, 20 hours a month, is to hire Deborah and her company. And those of you who aren't in a financial position to do so, tells me you're probably not closing enough loans to afford it, which means that you should be scheduling that time, right? I always tell you what gets scheduled gets done. And, the reason that Justin has been successful is, number one, he's a student, right? He's continued to learn and hone in what he values and what he wants to teach to his target audience. So you really have to sit down and think about what's that avatar and who's it that you want to sell to. And then you got to schedule that time, right? And you heard Justin say he's multitasking, right? He's working out and listening to those books. And there's just a great opportunity for you to grow yourself and learn. And I think that in the end, you have a great ideas, you got a great voice, and you have a passion for this, and you absolutely need to be delivering this to the people that you want to impact and that you want to grow. And I love that about all of you in this community, is that you have that heart. And so I would just encourage you to jump on there and do it. And I just had a blast learning from you, Justin. And I feel like if the rest of you can just schedule that time into your calendar, you know, you heard Dave say he does an hour a day for the YouTube content, and guess what? It's taken time and it's gotten there. So don't stop short. Deborah and I did a call yesterday, and she said, hey, people stop short of that success that they want. So just start today, build the momentum, and you know, may not be next week or even next year, probably be a couple of years, but then you'll have the referrals and the life that Justin's got going.
Yeah, it's all about just batting singles every day, every week, every month, just batting those singles. And before you know it, you round the bases and you get where you need to go.
So guys, a couple things. We're going to have Dan Rawich this Friday. He's going to be giving a market update around where rates are going through the end of the year and starting off next year. Also, I want to showcase an article that will be published on LinkedIn where Jeremy Forcier did a number of calls showing branch managers how they can help their loan officers close more loans with fewer price exceptions. So check that out. Justin, any closing thoughts that you want to give the audience, or advice for new loan officers? Or you could do both. Closing thoughts, advice for new loan officers.
Yeah, no, it's just, like I said, it's just about taking those first steps. Don't overthink it. You don't need all the right fancy equipment. I was talking to Deborah about this. I just used my phone at first. Just get your phone, start putting it out there, give it a shot. If this is what you want to do, you know, if you're kind of like half in, half out, it'll probably be tough to grow. But if you really dive in, you start reading books, you start educating yourself, and you make a commitment to do this, it's really not that hard, and it's fun.
And guys, you got to deliver mortgage strategies to families, because there's a big difference between closing loans and quoting rates and getting people to commit to a transaction and teaching people financial strategies. One of the reasons Justin is so great at this, him and his team have created over 5,000 total cost analysis. So that's, guys, that's 5,000 times where they've asked questions beyond the transaction, and they've delivered mortgage strategies beyond the transaction. Like, that is a lot of education in addition to reading books. Todd, any closing thoughts, taking action for everyone?
You know, I just, I can't say enough how grateful I am, Justin, for you spending the time, and for the rest of you who are either watching this live to this point or who are watching this as the recording. I mean, in the end, Justin just nailed it. He said, it's all about batting singles. Before you know it, you'll be rounding home, you know, rounding the bases and heading home. And I think you know what you want to do. You just have to take the time and take action to do it. And I'm a broken record about it, and I will be for as long as you watch these calls, is that it's all comes down to you and owning your time, not letting everyone else own it. Be proactive and start the path. Right now's the time. And so, you know, jump on, make sure you're subscribing to both of or all of Justin's channels, Loans by JB, and make sure that you're following him and supporting him and what he's doing for giving his time to our community. And then just get out there and do it. Right. I mean, let's stop making excuses. Let's get out of our own way and just make it happen.
Justin, you're the man, bro. Really appreciate all the time you've invested in this community. You're always giving back. So thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
No, thank you guys. My pleasure.
If you got value, give this a like, share it with your mortgage friends, share it with your manager. Help us change. You know, I do believe that mortgage professionals can be the single most valuable advisor to a family. I also think we as an industry can end the fiscal literacy crisis in America by, one, when someone is looking to get into debt, educate them beyond the transaction, and then create social media content that's educating families about building wealth with real estate and managing their liabilities. Take care, everybody.
See you guys next week or on Friday.